जस्ट लाइक फॉर एग्जाम्पल Amazon पे तो सब कोई बेच सकते हैं, पर आपको खुद की वेबसाइट करनी है. There is Shopify which is available.
Yeah.
You can start creating a website on Shopify and start selling in. उसमें SMS gateway, payment gateway, everything is there. You get a consultant. There are enough companies available who can help doing it.
Do it.
The point is whether you want to do it or not.
Mindset is the most critical takeaway that this question that I asked you should have. कि आप change करना चाहते हो क्या? Ask yourself that. बाकी सब हो जाएगा. There is a service available. Please reach out to people. आपको solution मिलेगा, but please you will have to see whether you want to change or not.
Absolutely, completely agree. If you are sticking around and saying change होगा, कुछ change नहीं होने वाला है. दुनिया change हो जाएगी, आप नहीं होंगे. I see the situation around whether it is Europe or US. The kind of opportunity that exists here in India is uncomparable to anywhere else.
Hey guys, hope you liked and watched the first episode of Milap Shah. It was about his journey of moving from Silicon Valley to India to start a printing business, the multiple pivots he had in the printing industry. In today's episode, he speaks about how he presents his organization to be a technology company and not a printing business, and how that has helped him grow and scale his business. I'm sure you guys want to know about it. He also adds that he works around owning the customer, understanding their pain areas, and not really being bothered about the capital intensive requirements of running a printing business. I'm sure you want to know more about all of this, so let's go ahead and watch the episode. So you're like first generation into this, and you're not. I thought probably something to do with printing. Your dad was
related, but this business we started on our own.
Okay, so that's the jump that you had taken when you decided in the US in 2007.
Yes. We came back with a few ideas, and a couple of them clicked, and this was luckily one of them.
Great, lovely. So what has been the learnings? I mean, 14 years, close to 14 years.
15 years now.
15 years now, okay. So 15 years for you, and what has been the learning for someone who's going to be like in the US thinking of coming back to India, doing any business, not necessarily in the print industry or specifically any other industry? What would be your 2 cents to them?
See, I think the India of today is very different than the India when I returned back. Okay, I returned back in December 2006. And that time, whoever I met, he's like, are you mad? So, सब छोड़ छाड़ के India वापस आ रहा है. People are looking at going from here to the US. You leaving your green card and moving and coming back. But we were very sure that I think for us, priority was our family. My family had decided they're never going to come back there. So my wife and our CEO Siddhi, she is much more entrepreneurial than I am. She's like, if our parents are not coming, nothing doing. We are going back here. So we came back at that time and it worked out for us. But if somebody is thinking about today, I see the situation around whether it is Europe or US. The kind of opportunity that exists here in India is uncomparable to anywhere else. And I definitely see this next decade as the India growth story, and there is just so much of potential. And no matter the sector you look at, there is just so much of potential here. And not just the metros. In fact, I feel now there is so much more opportunity in the tier 2 and tier 3 cities. And there's no longer that brain drain from smaller towns to come to Mumbai, because Mumbai has this. Yes, a lot of people still think for certain sectors like finance mein hoga, but I think COVID and now the growth wave that India is seeing, I feel that there is this immense opportunity everywhere in every sector in India.
Okay, so in terms of wanting to understand, if you had to choose something other than the print industry, is there any choice that you would have made looking back 15 years?
So I was in the software development industry, honestly, and I mean, I wasn't enjoying it a lot, but software development I wasn't enjoying a lot. If I wasn't in this printing space, I would have been a product manager maybe in some tech company.
Okay.
And I'm recently realizing that I have a slight bent towards creativity, and I could have been an architect as well. Because I've been involved in a few projects and I end up sketching at times, and I end up telling the architect कि ऐसे करा तो वैसे किया तो. A lot of choices which you see in and around my office and homes are made by me. So I feel potentially another alternate career could have been architecture for me.
That's nice. I mean, you sound quite, in terms of your outlook towards things and the way you have set up this business, very uncanny for a printer. I mean, you still would be typecasted into a printer, but
Correct.
you run a technology company in the
Correct.
printing space. So wanted to understand, there have been many companies who have come, you would probably agree with me, who have come in the space and they have not been able to really sustain or, grow. So what are your views on that, and what were the reasons that they failed? Were they in the same space or they were doing something else?
So I think a lot of people were in the similar space. Some of them funded as well. For us, I think the key thing was our bottom lines are also very, very important. But I think one of the big reasons why we've been able to not only survive but scale year on year is that we adapt and change very, very easily. Okay, we don't come with this mindset. We change even before we are forced to change, is what the way I would say. Just like I mentioned that in our 15-year period, we've had 4 major pivots, and the kind of newer developments we keep on doing, I think it keeps us on our toes. We are never happy with what we have. We are always looking for that next. और क्या कर सकते हैं? What is the next thing for us? Now that we reach here, before even we kind of saturate, we kind of move on from there.
Okay.
So I think that's where I would attribute one major reason for us to stick around sustain for so long, is our ability to adapt and change very rapidly as a company.
And if you would like to throw some light on the reasons probably the others failed, I mean, anything beyond that they would have probably missed, it would be enlightening to someone who's in the space and wanting to look at it differently.
Honestly, I don't know the inner workings of some of them. A couple of them, I think I know they failed because funding dried up. See, typically I operate in 2 spaces. One is the B2C or the B2 SMB space, as I call it, and the B2B space. The B2 SMB space needs deep pockets. Okay, if I were to sell, let's say, a mug or a pillowcase to Sujit, I have to acquire Sujit as a customer. That typically happens through either a Google ad or a social media ad, or something or the other.
Correct.
In fact, now the ads are far more expensive. I remember at a point, we used to spend about 5 lakhs a month behind ads. Okay? Because that time our focus was not B2B. We wanted to grow the B2C piece. And you had a lot of other competitors who had deeper pockets, investors burning in 5 times the money that we were burning, and there is no loyalty in that business. If today I am offering a product at 100 rupees, somebody else tomorrow offers that at 90 rupees, the customer is going to jump ship. So we figured this is no way a space sustainable है ही नहीं. आज रेस करो, 2 साल के बाद वापस रेस करो, एक की टोपी दूसरे के सर, दूसरे की टोपी तीसरे के सर, and one fine day I'll have to stop my business.
So have you raised capital?
We've not raised any capital so far, while we've been at those crossroads a bunch of times. Previously, if I were to talk about 3-4 years ago, I myself, we come from a background where frugality is very, very important.
It's part of the DNA.
If you give me even 10 lakhs and बोलोगे ये उड़ाओ,
होगा नहीं.
Ads के ऊपर या किसके ऊपर, I just can't do it. Whether it is my money or somebody else's money, I feel very responsible for it.
Right.
Because I was still figuring out my business model. Okay. Yes, we were growing, but I couldn't see that, can I be a 100 crore, 200 crore company by doing what I was doing at that point. At that point, we wouldn't be very comfortable taking somebody else's money and then doing it. So to answer your question, we haven't raised money so far, but we are scaling 30% year on year.
Wow.
Okay, and that's not a small number, and we
I'm sure
profitable, growing year on year, and now we have a model in the last 2-3 years which is scalable. Till our pivots, which I've been telling you, we've all been 1 साल growth, 2 साल growth, third थोड़ा platform. We change something, वापस 2 साल growth, वापस थोड़ा platform. Now we are seeing orbital shifts now. In the years, especially post-COVID, we're doing trajectory shifts directly now. So now, while we have not internally taken a decision whether to go for funding or no, but let's say there comes an opportunity wherein we get a shot in the arm to maybe potentially expedite our process exponentially, we might be open to it. But till date, we are very, very comfortable the way we are growing and the way we are scaling our business.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, just building up on that question further, I mean, in terms of, the printing industry typically has been, ये machine लगाना है और growth आएगा. Whereas in speaking to you, the feeling that I get is technology is there. It's important. I'm not saying that you've definitely invested a lot in technology, and I'm sure the team that's working around is working on that. But the way you have pivoted, understanding the challenges that are coming, boss, this is not going to sustain me for a long span, and I need to move to the next or jump to a next thing which can be more sustainable.
Correct.
So with that background in mind, what is the advice that you would have for printers in India in general in terms of the way they are running their business? Do you have something to share on that front?
Yes, absolutely. The first thing you mentioned, that typically the mentality is I put this machine and business will come. Okay. In none of our decks to our customers, we even talk about infrastructure.
Is
ये
it?
machine है, ये machine है, ये machine है. The customer is concerned about his product, quality, price, timeline. Does he really care whether you have X machine, Y machine or Z machine? I don't think he cares about it.
Actually, I mean, I'm still stuck to the point where you just said that you're not talking about infrastructure. I mean, it's so much, it's like a breaking news for me that Printstop doesn't even speak about its machines. It's a printing company.
Today, a customer actually doesn't. See, we've never had offset in-house. We were primarily a digital
Correct.
player and a decent large size digital player. Offset kabhi bhi in-house nahi tha. Some older people in the admin teams who are always machine kaun sa hai, kya hai, we always used to tell them we don't do offset in-house. Still we were able to get those customers.
Sure.
Because we were always very, very transparent. I don't need to tell them that mera ye machine hai, wo machine hai. In fact, I feel once we tick off these parameters, the customer really doesn't care about it. In fact, now we are at a stage, whenever I'm talking to a customer, my discussion about a print product, in fact, we have now branched out to a lot of gifting. We can discuss a little bit about that. My discussion about what product we're going to offer potentially happens on the third or the fourth meeting. First couple of meetings are not about it at all. What we discuss with the customer is that what is your process in which you are procuring, let's say, print or a merchandise or a gift. What are the touch points? What are the challenges you face? Where would you want us to intervene?
Where I can value add.
Where I can do value add. So to answer your first question on what advice I can give it to people, I personally feel that if you don't add any value to a customer's job, by value I don't mean an embellishment, that's not value according to me. Most people here play on the cost game. कि मैं आपको सस्ता दे रहा हूँ इसके लिए मुझे जॉब आ रहा है. I feel that is a very short-lived game.
Yes.
आपका कॉम्पिटिटर आज नहीं तो कल नहीं तो परसों खड़ा हो ही जाएगा जो आपसे थोड़ा सस्ते में देगा.
Correct.
Because he has his EMIs to meet.
Correct.
He doesn't understand that and he will dig his own grave and your grave and the industry's grave by giving something cheaper and he'll take away that job from you.
True.
So until you make your relationship with the customer more sticky, you have your anchors in the customer's process that even if he wants, he can't get rid of you. Till that time, you cannot, that's when you become indispensable to the customer.
True.
To give you that example of that business card, the minute we moved online with an online workflow, even if that admin guy wants to get out, his 25 admin guys across India using that solution.
He's locked for a lifetime.
He's locked. वो बोलेगा बाकी सब बोलेंगे आपको जो करना है करो हम तो यही यूज करेंगे.
Correct. Correct.
Because you made, it's like if you are able to change your customer's habit.
Yeah.
You think of any e-commerce company, right? Uber आया, Swiggy आया, स्टार्टिंग में बहुत डिस्काउंट्स दिए आपको.
Correct.
आपको लत लगा दी.
Correct.
अभी इट इज बिहाइंड द बैक ऑफ योर माइंड कुछ चाहिए उबर हो जाएगा ना, टेंशन नहीं है. स्विगी आई रिमेंबर द मिनट व्हाट आई टेक एज अ लिटमस टेस्ट इज दैट द मिनट माय फादर नाउ थिंक्स ऑफ एन उबर और अ स्विगी, दैट मीन्स दैट चेंज और द बिहेवियर चेंजेस हैपेंड.
Yes.
Okay. So now for us, when we look at RFQs coming in, talking about you need to have an online solution to order, you need to have MIS reports, you need to have logins, that behavior change has come. So what I believe truly is that you really need to continue talking to your customers, listening to your customers and figure out where are the places where you can value add. Technology is one place you can, I think that's one of the easiest way you can add value. But
why do you say that is the easiest?
Because technology is now, the reason I say this is post-COVID. A lot of customers, I think you will see this whole wave of digitization. Everybody wants to digitize processes. What did COVID? See, COVID was a terrible time for a lot of reasons for a lot of us.
I can imagine.
But I think there have been some fundamental changes across due to COVID also.
Learnings.
Some of them which especially impact us as a business. A smaller company like us, we are only 125 people, hired our first remote employee in COVID. उसके पहले हम सोचेंगे भी नहीं, वो ऑफिस नहीं आएगा मतलब काम नहीं करेगा.
Correct.
We hired our first remote employee. उसके बाद we've got several remote employees. Employees started working from home, and the minute a lot of this hybrid remote working started happening, people started adopting technology like no man's business. कोई भी प्रोसेस आप पूछो ये डिजिटाइज करना है, मैंडेट आया ये डिजिटाइज करना है. सो व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू से इज दैट suddenly everybody's lens is that can I digitize this process? By digitize I don't mean electronic. मुझे paperless करना है, that I'm not talking about that. Is there a way I can make this process accountable?
Yes.
I can make this accountable, measurable,
Yes.
reviewable or whatever it is.
Yes.
So कोई भी जो, and the easiest way, what is the role of technology? Okay, technology is not a magic wand के जो भी है easy हो जाएगा. आप जो चीज जो manually कर रहे हो, technology just automates that so you can do it at scale.
Yes.
That is the role of technology.
Right.
So if I have to create this impact at scale, technology is the easiest way I can make it do at scale.
Yeah. Milap, I have this, probing question. I just don't want to miss it in the
Sure.
conversation, which I'm sure many people would want me to ask because of what you just said. कि अगर मैं एक Xerox का यूनिट लेके बैठा और मुझे ये मिलाप जी का इंटरव्यू सुन के आई एम लाइक इम्प्रेस्ड एंड आई वुड वांट टू डू समथिंग, पर मेरा तो कोई बैकग्राउंड ही नहीं है, मैं कैसे करूँगा? तो what are your views on that? How would a guy see you come from a very different
Correct.
breed. You are a computer engineer and you worked in Silicon Valley and all that. अभी जो ये बाकी के लोग हैं and they think or they dream of something of this, तो वो लोग कैसे करेंगे? What would be your views on that?
I do come from a technology background, but I don't think that's very essential to even start workings in this direction. If you are talking to your customers, listening to them, understanding their challenges, then today there are enough avenues available. For example, the space that we operate into, okay, it's called web to print.
Yes.
Because essentially you're using the web technology to reach a printing product. There are enough companies and solutions available outside which offer you a SaaS service without you having to host a website, figure it out and do everything. सब टेम्पलेटाइज होता है, आप आपके प्रोडक्ट्स डाल सकते हो, आपके यूजर्स लॉग इन कर सकते हैं, आपको ऑर्डर्स आएंगे, आपको फुलफिल करना है,
सब रेडी है,
सब रेडी अवेलेबल है.
आपका माइंडसेट चेंज करने की जरूरत है.
एग्जैक्टली. जस्ट लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल Amazon पे तो सब कोई बेच सकते हैं, पर आपको खुद की वेबसाइट करनी है. देयर इज Shopify which is available. You can start creating a website on Shopify and start selling in. उसमें SMS gateway, payment gateway, everything is there. You get a consultant. There are enough companies available who can help doing it.
Do it.
The point is whether you want to do it or not. Okay, and it is not just the other flip side to it. Why a lot of companies don't do this? Because the mindset is that I bought this software, business will start flowing in. That is also not the case. It's an entire ecosystem that you have to develop. Not only do you have to get this website, you have to start marketing it. You have to do the sales for it. You have to convince the customers, educate your customers to come on board it, explain to them why there is benefit in doing it. But once you do that, then you can go down this path also.
Yeah, as Milap sits here today, it's been 14-15 years of hard work that has gone into it to stand where you stand and talk with authority on the subject that you're doing.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure that would make a lot of sense and people should start thinking about it.
Today, the kind of tools which are available to you, and honestly, I see a lot of amazing work done by smaller mom and pop shops, right? To give you an example, there are some amazing invoicing billing softwares. वो बंदा छोटा सा जो व्हाट्सएप से बिजनेस कर रहा है, सेंड्स यू कैटलॉग, यू पिक समथिंग, यू बाय समथिंग, कोई एक सॉफ्टवेयर से आपको इनवॉइस आ जाएगा, प्रोफेशनल लुकिंग इनवॉइस. इन द पास्ट जमाना वो हाथ से लिख के आपको कुछ भेजता था.
Correct.
So tools are dime a dozen available.
Yes.
Okay. The proliferation of those tools is also quite a lot.
Yeah.
How much you want to change and how much of value you can add to your customer is up to you.
I think the mindset is the most critical takeaway that this question that I asked you should have कि
Correct.
आप change करना चाहते हो क्या? Ask
Exactly.
yourself that, बाकी सब हो जाएगा. There is a service available. Please reach out to people. आपको solution मिलेगा, but please you will have to see whether you want to change or not.
Absolutely, completely agree. If you are sticking around and saying change होगा कुछ change नहीं होने वाला है. दुनिया change हो जाएगी, आप नहीं होंगे.
I mean, I'm sure. I mean, the conversation is getting longer. I mean, I have so many more questions. I think we've not really dealt a lot into your personal life, and I have so many more questions on the business side. But I think I'll hold it for now, and hopefully you give us time some other day. We can do that. So, a little bit about Milap in terms of your personal life, and how do you gel that balance in terms of work and your personal life? Do you spend a lot of time at work, or how is it?
So no, I think I enjoy a enviable work-life balance. I would say because of the kind of work I do, I am not into operations. I can afford to work from anywhere. I've got 11-year-old twins. Okay, a boy and a
Lovely.
girl. So I'm a very involved parent. So typically work half a day, go back home, then again work half a day from home. So that way very sorted in terms. I mean, I'm not saying I don't work hard. I do, but I enjoy my time off also.
Nice perspective for printers to think of कि ऐसे भी life हो सकता है and you can run a successful business.
No, absolutely. I think one of the good things with us is that over a period of these years, a lot of people have stuck around with us, grown with us, and have that kind of a growth mindset. So they are running the business. If I talk about my operations team, they are running the business.
I could imagine.
None of the three co-founders, which is Siddhi, my wife, and the CEO, Pratik, my younger brother, who looks at our sourcing, estimation, and production, they are actually involved. So peak season is Diwali for us and New Year's for us.
True.
We are not involved in firefighting or jobs. The team takes care of it on their own.
Lovely.
As far as my other personal life, I mean, you asked me about. I love sports.
What do you play?
I play cricket. I've just started doing tennis. In fact, today morning I had a coaching session in tennis. I play
Nice.
squash.
Oh, you do? Okay.
I swim a little bit.
Nice.
So I love outdoors. So hiking, traveling,
Good,
food. So these are some of my passions. So I think just like any other regular person, I think.
Great. No, because the reason that I ask you this question, and I think why it's important, not just a question that it needs to be looked at, is because I have a lot of friends. Like I said, the business that I run, I meet a lot of printers, and most of them are so neck deep in work, and they're so engrossed. सुबह 8 बजे आते हैं, रात को 10 बजे जाते हैं. I mean, sometimes I feel bad for them.
Correct.
So, getting your perspective, and I could feel that you have got a kind of balance, a kind of zen feeling. So, I just wanted to bring that out in terms of you sharing out with the world of how things are with you.
Zen is a mindset. Zen कुछ नहीं है. ऊपर से डक जैसा है, नीचे वो चालू है. So from outside it looks easy and peaceful, but inside you are all hustling.
वो हसल तो होना ही चाहिए ना, नहीं तो you're not alive.
Correct.
वो तो हर एक को होता ही है. I'm sure the largest of business guys
Correct.
in the country or abroad, they would all have that hustle. वो तो flapping चलते रहेगा. लेकिन but you need to be at some
Correct.
kind of peace.
Since you mentioned about all neck deep in business, when we returned from the US, we felt that all the three of us getting involved in one business is a little scary.
Yeah.
What if this doesn't work?
Yeah.
So we started, co-founded another company when we returned from the US. That was in the ice cream industry. We started a chain of ice cream parlors called Hokey Pokey.
What are you saying?
Yeah.
Hokey Pokey was yours?
Yes, so I'm one of the co-founders in that company.
Oh.
And we started off that business.
Is it still there?
So Hokey Pokey, the company is very much there, but the product Hokey Pokey, it kind of is not existing today. But the new product, which is Epigamia, the Greek yogurt,
Acha.
that is doing very, very well. That's an
Okay.
FMCG product.
So you exited that business?
So no, I'm still part of the investors, but I'm not operationally part of the business. So the first 5 to 7 years of my working life, I was 50% here and 50% there, while Pratik and Siddhi were spending 100% time on Printstop.
Okay.
I was spending half and half time.
Okay.
At a point when Printstop started scaling and it needed full time, I started giving up my operational responsibilities there and started focusing full time here.
Oh, that's nice. I mean, thanks for sharing that. I mean, I never knew. Next time I'm around, I would definitely think of you about, I've had some very fond memories with my family.
Correct.
Visiting those stores.
No, see, that time kya tha, when we came back from the US, see, anybody who's been to the US would always feel that Taco Bell and Cold Stone Creamery करके एक स्टोर था वहाँ पे, ये इंडिया में धूम मच जाएगा. इंडिया, we in fact reached out to, when I was in the US, reached out to Cold Stone Creamery and saying that if we want a master franchisee in India, they came back with a 400-page dossier. Well, मैं Tata Birla नहीं हूँ कि I can do any of this. So we said we'll start our own business. And that's how Hokey Pokey came up.
Oh, nice.
And we started, we were a bunch of co-founders. That was with friends, while Printstop was with family.
Oh, that's nice. So you had a nice fine balance.
Yeah, that time.
And good for you, both worked, and things are going well. That's nice.
Yeah.
So on this note, I think we'll have to move towards the last part of the questions. I mean, in terms of, for the paucity of time, and we don't want this conversation to be way too long for our viewers to find it, like, people have this patience thoda issue.
We all love short format.
Short formats, yeah. So the last two questions that we generally ask all our viewers, we wanted to hear about Printstop, your journey. You're an amazing company. Though I'm meeting you for the first time, but I felt as if I've known you for a while. So, like we've shared your story, you have someone in mind whose story you think would be interesting for the world to know.
Yeah, a bunch of people I think you should talk to and get their stories. One of my friends, there's this company in Bangalore called Printo. So Manish Sharma.
Yeah.
Manish is a fantastic story. He's a great speaker. A 4-hour session will be less for him, I can tell you that. Then there are a few other people from the printing industry I can think of who are very passionate. There is this gentleman called Fahim Akbotwala. His story is something, his passions are something you should hear about.
Yeah, I love the way he speaks.
Yeah, so and I can actually think of 5-7 other names, and I'm more than happy to share those with you, because I think these stories need to come out.
Yes.
And people need to hear them.
Yes, that's the whole idea in terms of getting the stories, and if it can inspire a few of them in terms of either scaling up their otherwise stale business, or if someone is getting into the business.
Correct.
From that perspective. Great, thanks for their names, and Fahim is in our list. He's going to be there very soon, and I'll connect with Manish for sure.
Sure. No, thanks. I have 4-5 other names. I'm happy to give it to you.
Yeah, I would.
And you can reach out to them.
I would definitely love to get their names. And for the last question is more for us to know how we can do better. Is what do you think about Ink Stories, this concept in terms of reaching out to people and knowing their stories? Is there something that you would want us to do differently? Any views on that?
So I've seen a couple of your episodes. I haven't seen all of them, but I really love the casual approach. Not very formal, so it's more conversational rather than an interview. So I think I really liked it. It was easygoing. I never felt once while listening to it, chal band karo, baad mein sunenge. It was going on in the background and I was listening to it, so it was very, very. So I don't think there needs to be any change in the format. I think you're doing a fabulous job.
Great, thanks. I really appreciate for your kind words. It will hopefully help us and our team in terms of doing this better. And thanks, Milap. It's been wonderful. Though I would want it to continue much longer. I have many questions. I would love to ask you that, and I hope you give us time and
maybe
we can
do episode 2 sometime.
Sometime episode 2 later.
Yeah.
Great, Milap. Thank you. Thanks again.
Thank you very much.